What's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for an ML Sports Take. It's all brought to you by our good friends at Stanley Law Offices, Brian Comboy of Mass Mutual, New York State, and our terrific friends over at Bowers & Company CPAs. The Bills beat the Bears. Let's do the recap here, 35-13. And stop me if you've heard this before. The Bills got off to a slow start. The other team drove the ball right down. The Bills had to adjust. The Bills had to grind. The Bills had to have a balanced offense. They made a lot of mistakes on both sides of the ball. Gabe Davis had a fumble. Allen threw two terrible interceptions, but then he was great in other spots, and the Bills somehow mustered up 254 yards on the ground. Sean McDermott must have a raging heart on over this one, because that's a lot of rushing yards, man. You get Devin Singletary for 106, James Cook for 99, Josh Allen for 41. Each one of those guys had a rushing touchdown, and I feel like in this game, it was the same exact thing that I watched against Detroit, against Cleveland, against Miami last week in this stretch run here where the Bills have won 6 games in a row. And by the way, this was a big win for many reasons. Number one, you stay up top of the AFC. Number two, you win the AFC East, obviously. Number three, you keep the winning streak going. You stack some things. You go on the road in a tough atmosphere again and fight adversity. So for all those reasons, it was a really, really important and great win. But again, I feel like with this team, it's very simple. You're waiting for them to get that big drive, right? I mean, the Bills, they marched the ball down the field, with 71 yards in 6 plays over 3 minutes. And Tyler Bass missed the extra point. He had a rough day today as well. But then the Bears get a field goal, and they're up 10-6 going into the second half. But you still had a feeling, get the ball and make that drive. We need that one drive that is basically delivered the entire season. And that's exactly what happened out of the second half. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The gates open, and Secretariat ran to the finish line because the Bills put together just an unbelievable drive. It was 8 plays, 86 yards, over 409, capped off by that terrific 33-yard run by Devin Singletary. Then they go for 2. They get it with Khalil Shakir catching it in the back of the end zone. Then the Bills get the ball back. The defense really started to tighten up at that point. They were closing a lot of those lanes that were open for Justin Fields in the first half. The Bills get it, 3 plays, 35 yards, 47 seconds. Boom. Now you're up 21-10. You're feeling good. Bears get a field goal. It's an 8-point game. You're going, But then, bang, bang, the Bills get 2 late touchdowns, 8-play, 56-yard drive. It ended with a Josh Allen bootleg run, and then Dawson Knox, 13-yard pass from Allen with 4 plays and 20 yards on a short field in 106. The Bills win 35-13, and frankly, I think the Bills as a team today, if I had to grade them, I'd probably give them a C. I mean, they played an average football game, and they won by 22 points on the road, in the cold, horrendous conditions, stressing out about getting there, stressing out about getting back, plenty on the mind, shorter week. So you just keep winning these games, and you go. I mean, look, I understand they're 12-3, and the Bears are 3-12, but the Bears took the Eagles toe-to-toe last week. The Bears are a fast team. They're a competitive team. They have Justin Fields. They were down their two big guards, starting guards, and their 2 starting wide receivers as well, and their top corner in Jalen Johnson, but the Bears hung in there for quite a while. I mean, this was a 1-possession game all the way until the Bills got those 2 late scores. The Bills had trouble hanging on to the football today. Allen threw a couple of bad picks. The defense was having a really hard time in the first half. I think the Bears were calling a lot of great plays in terms of getting Fields out and around, but the reality was the defense really clamped down. They made the adjustments, and Justin Fields really didn't hurt him at all. Justin Fields was 15 of 23 for a touchdown and 119 yards, and he ran it for only 11 yards on 7 carries. So Justin Fields literally was no factor. But I got to be honest with you, Jones Jr., Pringle, Kmet, David Montgomery. David Montgomery's a solid player, but those are his weapons. I mean, give me a break. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm screaming to the hills for the Bears to go get weapons to surround Justin Fields. But this was just a game. It was a war of attrition. Again, brutal conditions. The Bills hopefully came out of this thing healthy. There were some nicks and knacks here and there, but we'll see what happens here as we move out. I thought defensively, Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, unbelievable as always. Jordan Poyer was terrific. Trey White was awful. Dropped an interception. He got burned on multiple plays. He's just not even close to 100% in terms of his football. He might feel 100% moving around health-wise, but he's not 100% as a football player. Shaq Lawson I thought was outstanding today. Ed Oliver was great today. Had a sack. He was constantly in the backfield. He was constantly pushing the offensive line over. He was stopping the run game. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Tim Settle was great today. So there were a lot of good performances. AJ Epinesa got that sack late. So a lot of good individual performances, but the team defense really adjusted to make life a living hell for the Chicago Bears and their quarterback in the second half to the tune of 3 points. That's all they scored in the second half. Pretty good by Leslie Frazier and his group. The Bills now will face Cincinnati in a game that is absolutely enormous. Monday Night Football in Cincinnati, and the Bengals won again today. They are an 11-4 team. So if they beat the Bills, both teams will be 12-4, but the Bengals would have that tiebreak, and I don't see Kansas City losing anytime soon. The Bills could either win and stay up at the top, or they could lose and fall to a 3 seed. That's kind of where we're at here if they do lose to Cincinnati. But you know what? We'll watch the game and break it all down through the week and talk about it when it's over. I'm Mike Lindsley. This ML Sports Take here is brought to you by our great friends over at Jam and Beats, Maple Down Senior Living Community, and your State Farm agent, Matt Graham. Get a free rate quote today from Matt Graham at SyracuseInsuranceAgent.com. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and as I always tell you, enjoy the games.